Alright, we're going to jump in here and play a few Blitz games in the daily Blitz Arena. There's about a half an hour left, so even though we are joining late, we should be able to get in a few games. And here we go. D4 to start. Not going to be berserking today. Try and play quality games and work on improving our rating. Right now we're at 1895, which is a couple hundred points below where we should be. Okay, they're playing a stonewall setup. We can see a lot of weak light squares for our opponent. Could jump in with my knight. Let's just keep his knight out of g5 for the moment. And just play some quick moves. Waiting to see where he's going to try and make progress. Okay, so he jumps in like this. And I can capture with my bishop. I think I will. Maybe I'll jump my own knight in. Capture on c5, but then he's going to end up with a lot of weak pawns. All right, let's capture here. Try and hit some of these weak points. And we're going to bring our rooks to the D and C files. Looking for discoveries. Okay, so now I can move my knight with a discovery. Question is, where's the best discovery? Probably capturing on d4. With the idea of checking him afterwards. Or I could capture on e5 to take away the d3 square. But then where's my knight going after that? Yeah, let's take on d4. If he goes to the d3 square, then I have another discovery. Perfect. I'm going to throw in this check here. And then I'm thinking rook captures c1 and queen captures e3 should do the trick. To get it so those ratings aren't cut off. There you go. So I took a bit of time there to calculate, but I think it was worth it. We had plenty of time. 5-0 is really almost a slow time control for online. Okay, and now if I want, I can capture with the rook. And then the knight. And now I can throw in a check. I can take with the queen. Throwing in the check first is probably good. Now I can take on e3. I can capture the bishop. Let's take the pawn. I don't think he has time to really save the bishop. His king is in a lot of trouble. Yeah, he doesn't save the bishop. Okay, this wins the queen. And then we can take the bishop next. No chances for stalemate. Plenty of pawns left. And they resign. Okay, back to tournament. 25 minutes left. Should be enough time for maybe 3 more games. Okay, against a high-rated opponent here, 2176. Let's see what we can get going. Ooh. It's an unusual move, queen e7. Very unusual opening. Guess we'll just attack the queen here. Yeah, he plays f6. Lots of pawn moves from my opponent. Just get lined up with the queen and king. And we'll look to trade off those dark squared bishops at some point. Okay. Take here, renewing the pin on the knight. They can take my knight, but I should be able to hide my king if needed. I can actually take this d6 pawn right now because the knight is pinned. So we should be up a pawn. Okay, let's force this bishop to make a choice. If he takes my knight, do I even take the bishop? Maybe I take this knight instead, because the bishop is the only thing guarding it. So I take the knight. No, I think we take the bishop. Okay, I can grab another pawn like this. Now we're up 2 pawns, and we're only down about 15 seconds. We'll keep that pin on the knight, and then we'll see if I can activate my own rook. My king is quite safe here. And I might even be able to get my rook down here. Yep, he stops that. But at what cost? Guess we'll attack the rook. And attack both these pawns. And he just resigns. Boom. And Yeah, my opponent played a funny opening, probably full of traps and such, but we didn't try and punish it. We just developed. They moved lots of pawns, and things worked out. Okay, back to tournament. Two quick games. We are up to 817th, so we've got a ways to go. But we are on a streak, which means if we win this next game, it's worth 4 points. Here we go. Do we berserk? I said I wasn't going to, but we couldn't resist. I'm not losing any increment, and they are more than 400 points below me. So we're going to take the risk. Got to move up those standings. Not sure I've ever seen c4 there before. Trying to get him to move this light squared bishop before I capture. I'm still going to wait, actually. Just so I can castle quickly after his bishop gets to c4. So if he castles, I'm going to capture on c4 and then castle myself. Got to keep the moves quick. He's used almost a minute already, though, so hopefully I just catch up on time. Back to d6 makes sense. I need to develop my queen side. Likely bishop g4 and knight b to d7. Okay, change of plans. We will offer the trade. We are happy if he captures on f7. 2 pieces for the rook and the pawn is just about always beneficial for the person getting the 2 pieces. Yeah, so he just makes a simple trade. Go queen c7. Just throwing a little threat on h2. See what he does about that. Okay. Let's get in on those light squares. Still down a minute on the clock, but not too bad at the moment. All right, we'll make this trade. Need to get my queen a little more active. I don't see a way to get on the light squares yet. We're going to offer a rook trade. And then maybe queen to e7 and up to e4. Actually threatening some checkmates here. And up to e4. I think he has to play bishop to f1, which maybe isn't even that bad for him. But then I'll play bishop to g4, try and keep things quick, include lots of threats. He just plays f3. Okay, I guess that works also. Check. He's going to run into the corner here. I guess this doesn't work. He runs into the corner. We go here. We're attacking the bishop and also threatening mate. So something like queen to g1 does stop the checkmate, but drops the bishop. All right, we're just going to take the bishop without thinking because it wins a piece. And we need to play fast because we're down to a minute. So it is time for a bullet game. No back rank checkmates. My bishop has it covered. Now we're going to look to try and trade off the queens. As we're up a bishop and a pawn. Okay, there's a check. That should be it. They block with the queen and we capture on f2 mate. Good game to my opponent. And we've moved up. That was worth 5 points. So we're up to 529th place with 15 minutes left. Enough for 1, maybe even 2 more games. Here we go. Got a berserk again. Playing against the French. Or not. Playing against the modern. Our opponent has really weakened their dark squares on the king side. We're going to look to create some kind of king side initiative as a result. Okay, let's go for this trade. I can probably castle either direction. Have to decide whether or not I want to push the h-pawn. Okay, we're going to go ahead and capture there. And let's go queenside. Since he's pretty committed to going kingside still, since he hasn't developed his queenside at all, I'm going to play rook h to e1 first. And now I'm threatening to capture twice on d5. Okay. Let's jump this knight in. That looks aggressive. And I'm going to say that my knights are the biggest deal here. So I can just win a pawn if I go knight takes and I take this pawn. Yeah, let's keep it simple. Let's just grab this pawn. His queen is quite offside, so we're not overly worried. Let's keep his knight out. I can even post my knight up on the b5 square now. Attack his rook, probably doesn't do much. Alright, let's push the h-pawn, give him something to think about. I'm not sure where his knight's going here. Okay, that drops the a-pawn, so I think I can just take that. But I haven't been moving quite as fast this game. I need to be aware of that. Let's move my king. Probably need to re-centralize my queen. Maybe bring it back to d2. He sacrificed his knight. He might be able to play queen here and try and win it back. Oh, rook there. That I didn't expect. This is pretty tricky all of a sudden. Alright, let's give my king some room to run. We might be giving back the knight. Thought the rook there was a bit more worrisome. And we're going to have to run with this king a bit. Uh-oh, down to 36 seconds. Gonna have to play fast. This should be a good king-pawn endgame if everything trades. Maybe not. Losing lots of pawns, losing lots of time. But hopefully this passed pawn means something. I should have moved the other way, though. He has rook to f5 right now. Oh, there's a check. That looks powerful. Check. Okay, might be swindling here. Okay, he gave me his rook. Very fortunate. And that's checkmate. Whew. Got lucky in that one. Okay, 7 minutes left, and we're right back into another one. No berserking this time. Let's see if we can end with this game and having won all our games. We get to play a French ourselves here. An exchange. See how we can mix it up. He's going super passive. Okay, let's chase that down and grab the bishop pair. It's an interesting move. I'm not sure what king h2 is really trying to do. Okay, he's just trying to get his rook to the h file, which is not a concern for us. My knight is guarding. I can take the knight. That doesn't seem ideal. Maybe it's good though. Capture the knight. What's he has there? I'd like to trade queens, but I don't see a way to do that right now. If he brings the rook to the e file, I'm just going to shuffle my queen over. The rook trade should favor me, since I'll still have the e file and slightly better pawn structure. He backs the knight up. Okay, let's take this and tempo his queen. Alright, we'll come back this way with the idea that if the knight moves, we'll put our bishop here. He might be trying to get his knight into the f5 square. Alright, now we can just block. Just have to be careful about moving my knight and having this square under attack. Trying to play quick moves, keep a time edge, and look to move my queen closer. Yep. So what does that allow? That allows check. And take this pawn. And his queen is attacking my rook, but his king is not really involved. Bishop captures, not ideal. Need to move this rook somewhere. It's just a simple rook trade good. To activate the rook like this, adding some more pressure. Now I'm threatening bishop captures. Might even be a big threat. Yep, check. And now I've got discoveries by moving the bishop. And check. And that should be game over. Okay, good game to my opponent. There is 2 minutes left. So we're going to go ahead and finish there. A nice tournament. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in. A performance of almost 2,200. So we've got to be happy about that. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys enjoyed. And good luck in your games.